Oh, oh, the weather outside again. Oh, the weather. Yes, it's Christmas time again. I realized something about this song. I'm doing it again. Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Man, it doesn't show signs of stopping. And I brought some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Okay, this is what I discovered. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I hate going out in a storm. But if you really hold me tight, all, all the way, there it is, all the way home I'll be warm. All the way home I'll be warm. I think I was singing that wrong the other night. Trash pandas out back smelling up the place. Trash pandas. I guess that's a raccoon. That's a cute name. I like raccoons. Hello, everybody. Okay, the bridge again. I think it's called the bridge. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. Hey, what's up, everybody? And the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. My dear, we're still goodbying. You know, let it snow, let it snow. Good evening, everybody. I skipped that diminished chord each time I went through that. Just I skipped it. That was I was really shortchanging here. And the fire is slowly dying. And also that little melisma dying. That's not. I don't think that's ideal. And the fire is slowly dying. And my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. All right, let it snow, everybody. Good evening, nice to see you. I learned an incredible word this evening from my neighbor who is a linguist, and I have to share it with you. I have yes, neuro. Everyone overlooks the diminished chords. They're diminished, but we shouldn't diminish them. We should accentuate them. Accentuate the diminished. That sounds like a kind of concept song that someone would have written back in the 20s or 30s or who knows when, where the whole song was diminished chords, and the joke was that it was about the idea of diminishing things and the opposite of diminishing them. When we finally kiss goodnight, that's another one of those vocal affectations. Good night. When we finally kiss good night. I like it better without that little glide. When we finally kiss good night. How I hate going out in the storm. But if you really grab me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. Oh, I'm going back to the top of the song. Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. There's that diminished chord. The fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Let it snow. All right. Let's let it snow. It's July. As I mentioned the other day when I did this tune and then was reading about it, it was Gus Kahn, I believe Gus Kahn, and I got to check that it's Gus Con and make sure it's not the other con. There are a few cons. Gus Con, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight. Yes, Gus Con. So what we discovered is that he wrote this song in Los Angeles in July, about 80 years ago. I love the idea that he wrote that song. It was an aspirational thing. Would you let it snow already? Because this is in the days before everyone had AC pumping at all times. And let me point this out. AC is great. It's nice to be able to reduce the humidity and reduce the temperature in your sweltering dwelling. But it's also nice to feel what the world is actually like. And the world is hot. So I think it runs contrary to the value of empathy to have air conditioning, because so much of the world right now is on fire. Record high temperatures every day in many places. Hottest day on the planet, day after day. Records set every day. People dying from the heat. People suffering from the heat. People having to work outside in the heat. The capitalist overlords making their agricultural workers work in the heat, not have enough breaks. Laws in certain places. I think in Texas they actually passed a law that you couldn't give people a break and let them have enough water breaks. I know that sounds cruel, and it just sounds impossible, but Texas law regarding water breaks. I see. It sounds like something fictitious, something that Dickens would have thought of. It became law on September 1st that Texas has no water break requirement for workers. So in Austin and Dallas, where citizens have agreed to protect construction workers by requiring that their bosses give water breaks, the state has superseded the people's wishes with the Spartan standard loved by the construction bosses. This is the world we're living in. This is the country we're living in, where the state passes a law superseding the local and municipal laws to protect construction workers. The state moves in and passes a law saying, no, they have to work through the heat. What is going on? How did cruelty take over? I know it's a little bit naive to say it took over as though there was some moment when capitalism was kind and gentle, but this is really turning the clock back to the time before unions demanded safety and protection. That was June 16th, 2023. Governor Abbott approved this law that will eliminate city and county ordinances like Austin and Dallas's mandated water breaks. That's what it was. Austin and Dallas mandated the water breaks, which is how it should be. You know, I'm in a union, and I'm very happy I'm in a union. Back when I was singing in theater productions in the opera, the union was no joke. When you had rehearsed for X number of minutes, the shop steward, who was like one of the violinists, would just put his bow down and say it's break time. So at that moment, the conductor, who's the boss in that world, is no longer the boss. The conductor respects that there's a union for all the musicians. The singers, we had a union also. It seemed a little bit less pushy and robust, but it did something. But that orchestra, they would just put the bow down and that was it. No one even questioned it. That's what unions do. That's what they should do, because otherwise, the conductor or the company would try to squeeze too many hours. Here we're talking about people's lives and their health, where the union negotiates and then the city, the municipality mandates breaks. I'm assuming it was unions who negotiated that to begin with, but the municipalities vote for it. A humane law, at least something humane within the law, to protect construction workers when it's 100 degrees outside. And then the state passes a law. It's shocking. Okay, Blue Lady is giving us a recipe that involves dough and water, which is very nice. Sprinkly. If you want to put sprinkles on your dough, that's more of a cake than a bread. But you actually could, I guess you could make a loaf of bread and then just put sprinkles on it, and it would be called sprinkle bread. It sounds like the recipe of a toddler. That's the kind of thing that There was a really nice word my mom used to use. There was a Yiddish word, which I think the idea was if someone's doing something constructive, someone's doing some actual adult work, but then there's a kid nearby who's just messing around and playing. The word was potchki. You're just potchkiing. You're just messing around. And the image I always had for potchkiing is like a little kid sitting in a mud puddle, going like this with their hands in the mud, having a great time. That's potchkiing. And I think it comes from the word potch, which is a slap, like a potch in tuchus, like a slap on the butt. All right. We've gotten a little bit political. Let me see what we're saying here. Blue Lady is saying there's a Zoom on Monday at 8. If anyone's interested, I want to see what it's about. It's about baking bread? No. La 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 la. Oh, you were on a Zoom call last night. Okay, a Zoom call with 100,000 people on it. I'm wondering what organization that was for. Was it the one for women? Women for Kamala? Hello, Mom. Hello, Blue Lady. Hello, David. Hello, Dawn. Hello, Richard. Hello, Nuro. Hello, everybody. Hello, Blue Lady. Thank you for joining. Hello, Leslie. Bonsoir. Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, la da dee da 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 da. But if you really hold me tight, la da 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 da. 1,000. Mom says there were 149,000 women on the call. Wow. Yeah, my thinking is that maybe potchkiing has to do with like mud pies, like someone's in the kitchen actually baking, but then you're just a kid playing in the mud. You're just potchkiing. All right. So here's a word I learned tonight from my neighbor, who's a linguist. Creak. Creak is the word. So this is a pet peeve of mine. This is something I'm pretty. I don't know if obsessed is overstating it, but it's almost obsessed. People on microphones, on podcasts, of which there are billions now, well, hundreds of millions at least, a lot of times they talk like this. At the end of their sentences, they go like this. They talk like this in their regular voice, but then by the end of the sentence, they talk like this. And a lot of young people do this, even if they're not talking on a microphone. They talk like this. It's called, I thought it was called, it's like an E-T voice. But a lot of people do that. They'll start their sentences like this, but by the end of the sentence, they're talking like this. Once you're aware of it, you can't unhear it. And so many people on microphones do it, including TV anchors and radio hosts. And then young people do it anyway, just conversationally. They talk like this. They talk in this sort of a voice where they're, and what it does is it's like it artificially lowers the register of your voice. So I think people who want to have a lower voice and they think it's more authoritative, that could be one of the reasons. I know there's been a lot of talk over at least 15 years about what this thing is that people started doing, and it's now become really ubiquitous. I find it painful on the ear, but then there's backlash saying, you know what, you can't be like a fuddy-duddy and insist that people talk the way they used to talk. This is how people talk now. So, but why do people talk like this? It's very annoying, but lots of people do it. And one interesting phenomenon once you're tuned into it is to hear that at the beginning of people's sentences, when they've had a nice big breath, you can hear the actual tone of their voice. So they're speaking with their full voice. But by the end, when they're running out of air, that's when they start going into this. Yes, so neuro is using the word that I was using for it. That's what we called it in the world of opera. When someone was trying to sing a low note that was lower than they could really sing, you called it a vocal fry. It's called fry. That's one of the common words for this. But thank you for the reminder, neuro. And that's what I told my neighbor, who's a linguist, and currently he's doing a project on phonetics or something to do with the actual vocal production in language. Um, and so what they call it is creak. They call it creak, which is a nice word for it. Also, it's also descriptive of what it sounds like. Woof. Hey guys, don't start barking. I just woofed like to get it. That was not the right thing to do. Hey, Hildy, we have a show going on here. Don't do that. You know what? I have a little bit of dog food here. I'm going to put it up on the table so Hildy can't reach it. And then I'm going to let her out here. So then maybe she'll stop barking. And then I'm going to tell you a dog story. La la, and the fire is so delightful. La 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 la. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. She smells, look, she smells that there are like 3 morsels of food. Hildy, do you smell that food? Do you want that food? I'm not teasing her. I know she wants the food. She's going to do anything she can to get these 4 little crumbs of food. You know what? She can actually eat these. These are the right kind for her. Here, Hildy, you can have them. Okay. There, that was a little bit of show and tell on the show. You got to see her. Hildy, was that delicious? A little extra snack. So what David, I like that idea. Since I'm out here in the woods, the next time I stand up, you just see a guy silently holding, he's got a chainsaw and he's just standing there silently. Like he doesn't say anything or do anything. He's just standing there with the saw. Let me tell you a little bit about Hildy's alimentary canal. So we sent away a few samples of her hair, and we got a DNA test done that showed what her food sensitivities were, because she had a very complicated gut. And what we learned is that she has an allergy to chicken and to grain and to watermelon. So we switched foods. So that particular food she was just having some of, that's the one that's good for her. It's fish, it's no grain, and it's the one that we wait, I like the crosstalk that's going on. Hi, Hildy. Hi, beautiful girl. Yes, we agree. I'm frying right now pierogies. I'm frying right now pierogies. I like the order of the words that you the word order there. That was nice. Interestingly, now my neighbor, the one who's the linguist, who told me that the word is creek for people who talk like this. That's where he lives and works in Poland. That's his. He's Slavic languages is his area, Russian and mostly Polish. But here's the question, which he's investigating apparently: do people who are learning the language then learn to do the fry or learn to do the creek? And they're using actual electrodes. This is interesting. This is what I learned tonight, and I love this because it's something I'm pretty unhealthily obsessed with when I listen to people on the microphone, which I listen to a lot. That sound, I find it just so bizarre that people do that. So what he's investigating, using electrodes, they can test when the vocal folds are closer together. So that's when the vocal folds are closer together. That's when you're getting more of that creak or fry sound, and the electrodes show that when those vocal folds are touching you, you get a stronger current. So that's somehow the way they're testing it. I assume the electrodes go on the outside. I didn't get to ask. Anyway, that's what's happening. Oh, Liberace was allergic to watermelon. That's interesting. I don't know if that's true, but I like the idea. But so Hildy also is allergic to it. Okay, so Here's what happened. By the way, Feldman, I'm going to call you out right now because I just emailed you. I'm trying to get confirmation. So we have an event. Let me pitch this event right now. Oh, the weather outside is frightful. Here's the event. September 19th, 7 p.m. Eastern, MVP, Movement Voter Project. We're going to have an event. It's going to be a Zoom. It's going to be about 1 billion people are going to attend. We're going to raise $1 trillion to try to save our republic. That's what Ben Franklin meant when he said a republic if you can afford it. A republic if you can raise enough money on Zoom calls to keep it. So we're going to try to add to that pot of gold to help save the republic. Please mark your calendars. September 19th, 7 p.m. That was Hildy marking her calendar. MVP, Movement Voter Project. Please go to www.movement.vote. So here's the lineup for that event. Hildy, you're not on the Zoom call. I've told you a million times. I know you want to be on the Zoom, but you're not on it. Unless you have something to say that's relevant to politics. Okay, David's confirmed. So here's the lineup. It's an amazing lineup. It's going to be me and Barry Lynn, the Reverend Barry Lynn, as co-hosts. We're hosting the event. David Feldman will be one of our guests. The very funny and very well-informed and very, very talkative David Feldman is one of our guests. Check out the David Feldman Show. It'll change your life. Not necessarily for the better, but it will change your life. Okay, Hildy, you're going to have to go inside if you keep doing that. Come here. Come here. Say hello. Say hello. Okay, so David Feldman will be on the show. And John Fugelsang, an amazing commentator, politician, not a politician, a political commentator, and a comedian. Comedian, commentator, writer, radio personality, John Fugelsang. Listen to that lineup. 7 p.m., September 19th. David Feldman, John Fugelsang. And Julia Quinn, author of the Bridgerton novels, which have become a massive worldwide juggernaut of a hit on Netflix. Bridgerton. So that's the lineup. And then we might have a musical guest, a very fantastic musical guest opening the show with a single invocation, an invocation to freedom and democracy. And I'm working on that. So that's the lineup. Let me review. September 19th. Thursday, September 19th. 7 p.m. Eastern. 4 p.m. on the West Coast. 1 p.m. in Hawaii. 1 a.m. in Stockholm, Sweden. Me and Barry Lynn hosting. David Feldman, John Fugelsang, and Julia Quinn, author. Super duper person and super duper best-selling author and creator of Bridgerton. That's the lineup. That's going to be the show. It's going to be fun. Liberace loved, oh jeez. Leslie, this is, how many times I got to tell you, this is a family show. Madame. All right. And it's one of those Zoom, we have the Zoom new and improved extra, with extra padding and extra Retsin. We have the extra Zoom that allows, I don't know, a million people in the room. So spread the word. It's going to be big. We're going to raise $1 trillion. And what it is MVP. They support grassroots organizations that get people to the polls and get people to vote. It's not exactly, I wouldn't say it's non-denominational. It's clear which side wants to expand access to voting. So that's what they are. They're voting. They help organizations that help people get to the polls. Like they help Black Voters Matter, an amazing organization that was instrumental in the Georgia runoff 2 years ago. So they're not explicitly partisan, but we know which side is trying to expand access to voting. La 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 la. Thank you, Mom. Mothers unite for this. Awesome. Leslie says, "What? Well, the what is that? Your banana comment. Your banana comment. Come on. No, no. I welcome all the banana comments. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you. I almost never do this. I want y'all, if you would be so kind, please put your hand up to the phone. Put your hand up to your iPad. Put your hand up to your television. And if you would, pray with me. Pray with me. Pray with me. Stay with me. Remember, a family that prays together stays together. Let us let us pray. Let us pray for the well-being of our puppy. One of our puppies was injured last night, terribly. She took a fall, and I took her just a couple of hours after the show. Leslie interrupts with, no, Leslie interjects, "Hey, Ethan, do you know how to pronounce Kamala?" Yes, it's comma. It's comma. You begin with comma. Yes, you begin with the word comma, like the punctuation mark. There's a nice video of her explaining it. Comma, and then la. Kamala. Okay. Yes, so Fafi, our beloved Fafi, took a fall, was injured. So I drove her at midnight. We're very far away from emergency medical services here for humans or for animals here at the end of the Cape. So she was looked at by a vet at the first place, and they said, "You probably want to take her to this other place." So we took her. I had an all-nighter last night. I got home at 6:30 a.m. Fafi spent the night in that. Yes, David, you've nailed it. Um, Karen, I'm sorry, but that mnemonic for how to pronounce is confusing things. That was the one that I thought was correct, and that was my mistake a few nights ago. It's not like Camelot. It's not Camelot. It's comma, like a comma, like the punctuation mark. So the suggestion, I think my dad made that suggestion of Camelot, like the Kennedys, or like Robert Guillaume. If ever I would leave you. Camelot. I think that's Camelot. But that's not how you pronounce her name. It's comma, like the punctuation mark. There you go. Exactly. Comma. Yes, Karen, thank you. And yes, David, that is why we should put a wall around our heart. This is the reason. Because if you love things, you will then suffer. You will suffer the pain and the guilt of having been in a position to protect them or love them or make them feel okay, and to come up short, or in very bad case scenarios like last night, to actually be responsible for them when an accident happens and they get hurt. Oh, Goulet, not Guillaume. Who's Robert Guillaume? Why did I say Guillaume? Who is Robert Guillaume? Is that another guy? Oh, Robert Guillaume is another singer actor, but that's not him. It's Robert. Oh, what show was he famous for? I know his face. Oh, he played Benson on the TV show Soap, and then on the spinoff Benson. That was Robert Guillaume. He was amazing. Wow. He lived from 1927 to 2017. He passed away. He's from St. Louis. He passed away at the age of 89 in Los Angeles. He was terrific. That show, Soap, was really an incredible comedy in the 70s. Wow. Anyhow, if ever I would leave you, it wouldn't be in springtime, knowing how in spring I'm bewitched by you so. Comma. Yeah, it's comma. It's Kamala. I just proved how that's a difficult song to sing, and weirdly, it was the very first song I ever attempted to sing in an audition in college for a musical. I got the sheet music. It turns out that there's quite a big range in that song. Not easy. Tonight's show should be called Digression. The whole thing's a big digression. So let me finish the Fafi story. The specialist looked at her. They did it, thank God, they did an MRI yesterday, and they found, thank you, Jill, for asking. We think she'll be okay. Thank God, because we weren't sure. But they did an MRI and decided that surgery was not recommended, which was a relief. And the prognosis is good. The doctor says no guarantees, but I will pick her up tomorrow. She's spending a second night under the care of these doctors at this vet hospital. And I'll pick her up tomorrow after I'll take Hildy to puppy school, and then Hildy and I will drive and pick up Fafi. And then hopefully just after a few weeks of recovery, she'll be all good. Anyway, that's what I know. That's what's happening tonight. Watch out for that. Thank you, Richard, for the prayers or good thoughts or good vibes for Fafi, for Fafner, our beloved Chihuahua Shih Tzu. She's a great, great dog. I made the thumbnail tonight, a photo of Fafi with two of our other dearly departed canines. Thank you, Jill. Yeah, we're very happy she'll be back. So thank you for your prayers or good wishes or good thoughts for Fafi. You know what? Here's a song that just popped up, and maybe I'll make this the outro tonight. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He got the whole world in his hands. It's Kamla. I looked it up on the internet. It's Kamla. David, I have it straight from her on a Good Morning America clip where she explains. You say the word comma. It's Kamla. I'm not going to use that as the outro because it's too. I feel like I'm proselytizing. Instead, I'm going to do this. This is our new outro. It's side by side. Here we go. It's pronounced Worcestershire. This is a song by Harry Woods from 1927. Speaking of Harry Woods, there's some Harry Woods right behind me. He's got the little bitty doggies in his hands. He got the little bitty doggies in his hands. He's got the little bitty doggies in his hands. He's got the little bitty doggies in his hands. He got the doggies in his hands. That's nice. Oh, we ain't got a barrel of money. Maybe we're ragged and funny, but we travel along, singing a song side by side. Don't know what's coming tomorrow. Ain't that the truth? We don't know what's coming tomorrow. We don't know what's coming tomorrow. Maybe it's trouble and sorrow, but we'll travel the road, sharing a load, side by side. Through all kinds of weather, what if the sky should fall? Just as long as we're together, it doesn't matter at all. And when they've all had their quarrels and parted, we'll be the same as we started, just a traveling along, singing a song, side by side, by side by side. Instead of the C major ending on the C6, it really makes it sound like an ending. Side by side. It's magic. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for your eyes and your ears. This has been the No-Show for Friday night, I think it's the 26th of July, 2024. I'm Ethan Hirschenfeld. This show happens every night at 9 on the East Coast. Please like it, subscribe, and share it. Share it. If you enjoyed any of this, please share the link with someone you like. Or someone who needs to hear it. Someone might need to hear it. All right. A domani.